So, I have a tree problem. I'm going to build a shed on this concrete platform here that was originally for this basketball thing, and that's coming down too. But I'm keeping the concrete for the base of a shed and then extending it out further. Eh, I'm not sure exactly what it's going to be, maybe 12 feet that way. It actually goes back in there out of sight. And I've got to cut all this overgrowth I've just let go here and organize these tractor parts. But as I was cutting here, and you notice I have done some work with the DR power mower and then limbs here and whatnot, and that's about ready to run the DR through that area all back in here and move this out of the way. I ran across this big, long, dead pine that's caught in this, that's a poplar, yeah, caught in this poplar up there. And yeah, that's like the classic Widowmaker. You mess around with that and it suddenly decides to snap off up high and dumps on you. So I've been thinking about this for a couple of weeks now, ever since I run into this thing, and I think the first deal I'm going to try, and you can see sort of between the other trash up in here, that you see it's all rotten and long dead and kind of scary to deal with. So what I think I'm going to do is get some collection of straps and chains and whatnot and start them here and go way out there, as many lengths as I can come up with. And then I'm going to cut through this thing down low at the base about halfway, and those cuts are going to be from the back side, this wanting it to go that way, and then go up as high as I can reach safely with the saw and make another cut from the back, and then come down between those two and cut from this side back. And they may be somewhat of a notch because I don't want my chainsaw blade to get caught up in the tree. That's a pain in the butt getting that out. So once I've got I've got a section that's cut here and cut down here and has a cut here. I'm going to wrap that strap or chain or whatever's closest to it and choke it up, and then go out there and hook it to my little tractor. And that tractor weighs, it's a Farmall Cub, but it still weighs, what, 1,500, 1,800 pounds, and back up and give it a snatch. And that should jerk that, well, it's dead and it's brittle. That should jerk that section out, and the tree will drop about 4 feet straight down, and I hope the pull will bring the base out. Let me back up some more. Bring the base out so it does this number toward me. And if I get lucky, it may drop it out of the embrace of the tree that's holding it up. If I get lucky. If not, I may have to put the chains back up on it and get something heavier like the truck, and just, you know, keep pulling on the bottom, drop it down, cut it off, pull on the bottom, drop it down, cut it off. Well, it's going to take a little while to rig that up, so I will be back. Well, it's the next day, and there was a slight delay because I couldn't find all of my chain. And I had to go to the store, and one thing led to another. You know how that goes. Well, I've got the tractor sitting over there idling, and you can't see it, but there's a chain that goes all the way back into the woods, and it's up about 3 feet on the base of that tree that is right there behind the yellow of this old yard sweeper thing. And I have not cut the tree yet. I'm going to give it a little bit of a yank here, just a little bit, and kind of gauge if it's hanging on a thread, or is it going to be really hard to pull down. I just kind of want to know that before I get under there and get friendly with it with the chainsaw. So here we go. Okay, my conclusion is that sucker is a lot stronger than it looks, although it's completely dead and dry. No telling how many years it's been dead. You can see all the dead branches sticking through in that area. So I reckon what we're going to do is break out the chainsaw and put some careful cuts in it. And I'm hoping this will be enough to crack it once I do that. Well, need to catch my breath. Well, here we are back a few days later, also with a slightly different camera position to get more of what's going on in. Um, so there was a bit of a delay caused by the chainsaw having an issue. The old rotten primer ball thing. Those things don't really last very long. So this past weekend I had to go, get a primer bulb, do a whole bunch of other things too, and then change the bulb on the saw so the saw's reliable again. I really can't have the saw cutting off on me and being hard to start while I'm doing this. So let me get back in here and nibble away at that tree a little bit more. So I'm getting to the point of being extra nervous here because this thing is turning out to be a lot stronger than I thought it was to begin with. I've cut probably 3/4 of the way through the tree in the 3 places I talked about earlier in order to make a breakout section, and it still ain't giving. So here we go again with some extra cut depth and maybe a little back cut as well. Well, let me get this in between bouts of acid reflux making me feel terrible. So here we go. I cut it so deep I got really nervous. So I see the video's still rolling. So let me pause it and go warm up the tractor and give it a pull. Well, here we go. The tractor's warmed up, so I don't have to worry about the engine stalling, and got a little bit of drink of water. It's not as bad as out here as it was last week, though. Well, let's cross fingers and hope this thing pops this time. Well, here I am back with Plan B. I guess we'll call this Plan B and not Plan C because it's Plan Buick. So it looks like I need a lot more mass because, well, the only thing that's holding the tree together is a couple of sections that are only a couple of inches thick. And I know if I tilt that center section just at least a little bit, it'll come, the pressure from the tree will crack it out. So I guess this is a slightly high risk situation here, but I'm just going to get the car rolling, not really fast, maybe about 5 miles an hour, and just see if I can follow through. But I don't want to do this multiple times. I want to just like hit it once hard enough and drive all the way across out of camera range without going into the field. Just go straight forward and get out of the way. So, well, cross fingers and let's see how this goes. Well, as you saw, that worked, and I heard a loud crack. I don't know if the phone picked that up. So here's my chain, and here's the choker hook right here. So it came right through the tree. It didn't slip. And well, this is worrisome. It didn't do exactly what I thought it was going to do. It did something very close to it. There's the chunk that broke out, and the tree is hanging off the ground. Yay! Well, that didn't help anything. That puppy is in there. It's hooked in that crotch up there. Holy craps. I need to regroup here and think what I'm going to do next. Yep, there's the stump. There's the bottom of the tree. Nothing in between it. Oh man. So here we go again. I pulled out that bottom piece as I showed you, and I went back in there and put the slip chain up above the cut I made up high. It didn't break there. It broke off at the center cut and the bottom. Kind of what I expected, really. So I'm just going to take a wild-ass chance here that I can actually pull it down. And I'm not sure if you could see it, but right in there, the pine tree is hung over one of the oak branches that's coming almost straight at the camera. So that's what happened. It actually fell down and hooked. Kind of expected it. I was kind of hoping that maybe the tree had enough mass to just follow on through it, but I'm just going to give it a little bit more robust pull than last time, because once I get this thing rolling, I want to get that, if I can get it rolling, I want to get that trunk out a good ways, hoping that it won't spike itself into the ground. Nothing like brute force, huh? Let's get up here and take a look. Yeah, the car wound up over here. I just wasn't taking any chances, this all the follow through. In fact, in retrospect, it would have probably been better if I'd have gone a little bit faster. But here we go. I'm glad I choked it up as high as I did. I actually probably should have went a little higher just for insurance, but it worked. Yeah, there is also a really dead, and they're kind of never actually a really dead poison oak, poison ivy, some people call it, vine on this one. But you see, there's my cut that didn't break. This thing was amazingly strong up here, but down here, see, I cut it as far as I dared, and even nicked it here on the front side. And even though it only had like maybe a fat 2x4's width across there, it still was holding on for dear life. Well, one bad thing that happened here is it took off. Well, no. That's okay. I thought it took off more of the oak, but that's all right. It didn't actually pull off. It looks like some stuff that was already dead back in there. Oh, oi. Well, it missed that. Not that I was too worried about that, actually. So it had all this crisscross mess tied up in the tree over there, and you can see how this had been broken for a long time because it's all gray. It looks like it was caught on that limb right there, the big one. It looks like the limb is okay. It didn't rip it down. This is a decent tree right here on the border of the property, and I really didn't want to take it down. Let's walk up here and look at the stump. There it is. That's how far I cut, and I knew this whole front was mush, and it was making me seriously nervous to cut any further than that. And let's look straight up into where that bitch was. It was hung right up in here, right behind that curve in the tree. Anywho. Oh, well, I guess that's all for this segment. Now, let me get the chain off the car and put that 100 pounds of chain away.